Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Dorrani and Connor from VG247.com, and woo, finally, we have gotten the first real look at Project L from Riot Games. Connor, are you just as excited as I am? Because, oh my god.
I'm incredibly hyped. You know, the first time we even heard about it existing was all the way back in EVO 2019. So it's been 2 years of radio silence, and now we're starting to see sort of the direction they're going in and what they are trying to do with this game. It's just really, really cool to see. Very, very excited.
Yeah, so it's from Riot Games. It's a 2D fighter from Tom and Tony Cannon, who are the founders of EVO. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So big name. So Tom Cannon founded EVO. Really old school, really important American FGC head there with a lot of history there. His brother, Tony Cannon, similar sort of situation in terms of how integral they are to the scene. He's the guy who really invented something called GGPO, which is like a very early version of rollback netcode, which is a massive topic of conversation right now of games, kind of needing better online network functionality with COVID and all that. So they probably couldn't have gotten two better people to work on a game in terms of like expertise, in terms of like just knowledge. These are probably the two best people to bring on your team if you want to make a good fighting game, and they've done that.
They're in trusted hands. The game's in trusted hands. That's what we like to hear.
Absolutely, like the best hands.
Yeah, so they've shown what the sort of style and part of the direction where they want to go with this game, right? So it's an assisted based fighter, so it means you sort of control two characters at once, right?
Yeah, so anyone who's had a small look of the Marvel vs. Capcom series will kind of know what that means in reality. Basically, you have control of two characters, and during fights you can call your other character in temporarily to use one of their special moves or throughout an attack. It's interesting. Obviously, that wasn't always the direction we thought the game was going to go in, but obviously showing off now that they seem like locked into that, which is great. It adds like a level of complexity to the games. It allows for a lot of like weird combo options and lots of fun like mix-ups. For sure, it's certainly like it's not what you'd necessarily expect. Tom and Tony Cannon typically you'd expect them to be more Street Fighter heads, and so you'd expect them 1v1, but 2v2 is great. Like awesome.
I've always had fun with games like Marvel vs. Capcom as well. So I don't know, they just feel fun, but I feel like that really extends the development time because there's so many interactions that they have to account for and so many moves that work together, and the
it certainly could do. Oh god, it certainly could do. Adding assists in does add that added level of complexity, right? But they're not rushing to release it. They said we still not got a release date, we still not got a release window, we're still toiling away at it. So they seem pretty dedicated in terms of just giving it as much time as it needs. Great to see. As much as I'd want to get my hands on it as soon as possible, it's really cool to see they're putting the time they need into it.
So one of the biggest things that they mentioned is the controls. Of course, controls are a massive deal. This is what sets players apart, and the direction they've gone for are simple controls. So mainly meaning that there's no motion inputs. It is press your button and you do a special. And I know a lot of people might be like, oh, okay, that's a bit, everyone's going to be on like a level playing field, which I think is a load of crap, to be honest. I don't think that's the case at all, because I think the first thing that came to mind for me was games like Super Smash Brothers, where I know people might, a lot of FGC don't count that as a fighting game, but you can, for how simple it is, you can tell someone who knows what they're doing and how to exploit the game versus someone who only plays it when they go around their friend's house, with like just all of the items on, and they're playing with all of the final smashes and stuff. Those two like skill levels are two different things to watch.
Absolutely.
And I think I'm not worried at all about there not being motion inputs. It looks like there's a lot of technical stuff going on.
Right,
I'm seeing dashes, juggles, cross-ups, supers, everything. So what do you reckon?
You know, again, the video made me feel really good about this because they did bring this up themselves. They said, we don't want this to be the sort of game where a new player can press a few buttons and get one up on the people who dedicate themselves to figuring out what's going on. The conversation about how to sort of lower the barrier to entry on fighting games has been one that's been going on for a while. In the past few years, we've seen games like Grand Blue come from Arxis, which themselves had like MOBA style cooldown on special moves and a dedicated special move button. So people have been trying to figure out a way of like balancing the typical sort of expertise needed to play fighting games, but also we need to get new people in. I think they found a good balance for it. And in the video, you do see, like you said, some tricky stuff. So it seems that they are trying to not make it so it's totally unbreachable by people who are maybe coming from League of Legends or just any game, while also keeping in all the depth and all the good stuff that really keeps the game going, like a month, 2 months, a year later. Which is what you want to see, right? It's exactly what you want from a fighting game coming out nowadays.
Yeah, I think that's something that's so important because we could all hope that it's this super technical fighting game for people in the FGC when that is the case, but they also have a massive audience. I feel like sometimes people don't understand how many people play League of Legends, how many people are invested in this world who want to consume all of the content surrounding it. And Project L is using all of the characters, well, not all of them. At the moment, we've seen Ari, Darius, Echo, Jinx, and Katarina. Now, these are beloved characters that people want to play in other games just to see what it's about. And if they hop in to this game and they immediately are what's the correct word? Overwhelmed by this crazy control scheme, people are going to log out. They're going to be like, nah, do you know what? I'm just going to go back to League and go and play that instead. So I think it's important that they keep players playing and they keep people here.
They would be foolish if they didn't. Like, they have this like massive, like gigantic player base that is, you know, cross-pollination between League and like Legends of Runeterra and all the like small like Riot Forge like indie games they're releasing. Indie, it's obviously got Riot's name on it, but these smaller titles, they need to make the game so these players coming from League of Legends, which is a difficult game, no one's doubting that, but it's like a different sort of difficulty. It's about using your head, it's macro, it's timing buffs, it's learning matchups, whereas fighting games are also difficult but in a different way. If they had like old school King of Fighters levels of like entry, like people would bounce off it in a second, and me and you might be happy with that, but like it's hard to convince. Exactly, you need to. Fighting games nowadays, as much as people might not want to hear it, need to have these sorts of features to bring new people in. Otherwise it's an aging group, right?
I feel like it's always been quite a close-knit community. Like, it's not massive at all compared to other genres of games. It's nowhere near what MOBAs are. It's nowhere near what FPSs are. It's nowhere near what MMOs are. So I feel like they need every sort of edge they can get and every sort of bit of leeway. So I think it's good. I think that's for the best. There's still... Was you going to say something?
Oh yeah, I mean, if there's a game to do that, it's this one. Right,
absolutely.
In terms of install base, you've got this massive pool of players, right, who will at least be interested to hop over and give it a go. If they can nail it, they can maybe make a massive thing out of it.
There's still a lot we don't know yet. Things that make fighting games. You know, it's not just press this button sequence and this comes out in every single game. You know, I would say things like smash attacks in Smash are what make Smash. In Guilty Gear, there's Roman cancels and burst.
Right.
In Killer Instinct, you have combo breakers and shadow counters and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Features that make those games unique. And I feel like we don't know anything like that for Project L just yet, and I'm excited to see what those might be. I'm not sure yet. There was like you got to see the UI a little bit and like what that's like an older version of it. So I'm not sure where they're going with that, and that can really make or break the game. So
for sure, like it seems like they've got the foundation locked in, but that sort of unique selling point, aside from obviously it being League of Legends characters, isn't quite there yet. But you know, they said they're gonna keep people in the loop now and what's going on. So hopefully we'll find out soon. But I know, I totally get what you mean. It's very foundational. They've got the basics figured out and they're building out from there, which I mean, it looks good to me.
You spoke about the rollback netcode. That's something that I can't wait to that's just something that you don't notice it happening, but trust me, like it's so important. When I was playing Guilty Gear, it was I kind of wish it weren't there, because the way I was getting grabbed up by Potemkin mains in Guilty Gear was I was like, man, but this guy's super happy that this rollback netcode's here. That's just it's super important, but we'll keep it moving. The art style does look amazing. There's loads of nice well, I say loads, but I hope there'll be loads of nice stages. You saw I think the stage was Piltover.
It's the rest of the bridge from Arcane. It's right on the docks from the current Netflix show, which is, you know, it's cool. It's what people want to see right now. It's a great stage to pick.
I would love to see the rest of them though.
Yeah, for sure. I think we saw some sort of, in the very, very early glimpses we got back in 2019, we saw some sort of like Shurima Desert as well. That looked pretty good. All the character models look great. It looks like a really cool art style. It's like that cool mix of like, it's a really good 3D look on all the models. There's not a character I looked at and thought, it doesn't quite look right. They seem to have gotten a really good. They seem to have pulled all the characters in pretty well, especially Echo, who looks great in this game.
And I love how they are actually they're League of Legends characters. They have an identity already, so they've got such good source material to build these characters from. And they how many characters does League even have now? I'm sure it feels like 200 now.
It might be,
because they've got so many characters that they can say, do you know what, you have the perfect move set that can convert to a fighting game. And even characters I didn't even think, but like Ari, she's doing combos in the air for days, but that is them converting her ultimate over into a fighting game format, and I think that's it. I can't wait to see what the rest would be. I'm gonna assume that they're not gonna put like 50 characters in at once. I'm gonna assume it will be like 20 to begin, or maybe even less than that.
It might be.
But I'll be excited. How many did Guilty Gear launch with? I think Guilty Gear launched with like 10 characters.
Something like that. Well, I mean, sort of like low 10, so like 10, 12 is like a good number for a launch. And then
you build
from there, right? League of Legends, Riot Games has shown they're more than happy to support these games going forward. Like Legends of Runeterra has got an update after update after update. So I have no doubt that we'll see more characters come out in the future for this. A healthy starting roster of like 12, 10 would be fine. Just to like get it out and make sure, you know, it's all balanced well and it's all like a good package, like a small good package. But in terms of characters, when I saw Ari, it's like they kind of converted like a ranged mage with no real close combat like fighting at all into what looks like a really fun, fast-paced, exciting fighting game character. So I have no idea what they could do in terms of bringing a character. They could bring in anyone, really.
They got Jinx, who is is AD carry. Doing
looks lame as hell. Looks lame as hell.
You're not trying to get ranged poked. Is that what
zaps and like machine guns and rockets.
I'm here
Oh,
for it, man. You'd think there's so many fighters though, like actual like fist fighters. I think like Lee Sin, Vi,
right,
who would work in this sort of format really well. But I think that's the easy bet. I think
right.
that's the very, very easy bet. And I think they are looking at themselves saying, "Do you know what? We're better than this. And I know we can convert." You can see AD carries who are being like actual fighters, they're gonna convert absolutely anyone.
For sure.
So let's round it out by, I think we can both say that we're both excited. The game is still in R&D, so research and development. So we are a ways away. But I want to say, like, personally, Riot is a company that I trust so much. If there's a company that I like wholeheartedly trust in whatever they do, it is Riot. They've done so much good work for me personally. Every single game they've launched, I've played. League of Legends, Valorant, Legends of Runeterra, TFT. I'm even dabbling in some of the Riot Forge games at the moment.
Right.
But those main ones, especially League of Legends and Valorant, oh man, they've shown that they are so capable at doing whatever they set their minds to. Money can do that, but
yeah, they're
rich as fuck, man.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, for sure. When they start a project in house, they seem to really want to knock out the park from day one. And if we expect that sort of quality from Project Tail, it's just something to be really excited for, and I am. It's probably number one on the list of things I want to get my hands on. It's just kind of it almost pushes other fighting games out the way for me, which I'm afraid to say.
Because you're invested.
Because I'm invested in the game. I've played so much League of Legends, too much. It just looks really cool.
Yeah, we are both very excited. We are signing out. That has been Dorrani and Connor from VG247.com. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. What characters do you want to see from the League of Legends massive roster joining Project L? Let us know down in the comments. And peace out. See you.
See you.